Hare Krishna and pranams everyone. So welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam reading sessions. So let us begin with the prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaye Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So I have shared the quiz link in the group chat, so you can attempt the quiz. In the meanwhile, like so far, only one member has attempted the quiz, so that member is only the winner. So Pinky Mataji has attempted the quiz and Vedansh also. So let me share the quiz results. And Vedansh is number one. Hari bol. So, and Pinky Mataji got two wrong answers. So let us begin with our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are reading from first Canto, 17th chapter. And yesterday, Kailash Prabhu and we all of us read, and we read till fourth verse. And the background of this is that this chapter is called The Reward and Punishment of Kali. And so Maharaj Parikshit is now has now met a cow and a bull, and they're in a very precarious condition, and they are the bull is very terrified and trembling, and the cow is also is crying and having tears in her eyes, and now Maharaj Parikshit is asking, and he sees that one man is hitting both bull and the cow, and and that man is a Shudra, and now and Maharaj Parikshit asks that man with a deep voice that what are you doing? And so now we'll read further. If anybody has any questions and if anybody wants to read, then they can raise their hands, and so we'll continue. Just give me a minute. Okay. So we are starting with fifth verse. कस्त्वं कस् कस्त्वमच्चरणे लोके बलात् धांसि बलान् बलि नरदेवो असि वेशेन न- नत नटवात् कर्मणा अद्विजा. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Oh, who are you? You appear to be strong, and yet you dare to kill within my protection those who are helpless. By your dress, you pose yourself to be a godly man, king, but by your deeds, you're opposing the principles of the thrice-born Kshatriyas. So यहाँ पे तो Maharaj Parikshit is now asking that that person, that Shudra person who is hitting those bull and the cow, that आप कौन हैं, and how do you dare kill kill these members of my praja? Purport: the Brahman, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas. Sorry. The Brahman, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas are called twice born because for these higher classes of men there is only one. There is one birth by parental conjugation, and there is another birth of cultural rejuvenation by spiritual initiation from the bona fide spiritual master, bona fide acharya or spiritual master. So a Kshatriya is also born twice, like a Brahman, is also twice born like Brahman, and his duty is to give protection to the helpless. The Kshatriya king is considered to be the representative of God to give protection to the helpless and chastise the miscreants. Whenever there are anomalies in this routine work by the administrators, there is an incarnation of the Lord to re-establish the principles of godly kingdom. Na? Sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaय sadhunam vinashaya च दुष्कृताम dharma संस्थापनार्थाय. In the age of Kali, the poor, helpless animals, especially the cows, which are meant to receive all sorts of protection from the administrative heads, are killed without restriction. Thus, the administrative heads under whose noses such things happens are representative of God in name only. Such powerful administrators are rulers of the poor citizens by dress or office, but factually they are worthless lower class men without the cultural assets of twice born. No one can expect justice or equality of treatment from once born, spiritually uncultured lower class men. Therefore, in the age of Kali, everyone is unhappy due to maladministration of the state. The modern human society is not twice born by spiritual culture. Therefore, the people's government by the people who are not twice born must be government of Kali in which everyone is unhappy. तो ये हमने कल भी पढ़ा था that how the leaders are not Krishna conscious and they are not twice born as in or Brahman and neither they are guided by any Brahman. So that is why we have so much of maladministration and there is no protection to the praja or those who are born in the country. And what to say of animals? Even those who are human beings, they are also not protected. Their rights also, and there is there's so much sort of discrimination going on, and and they are stripped off of many of their rights and like that. So this is the duty of the king actually or the government who is ruling and to make sure that such kind of things does not take place in one's um, administration. But that is not happening because the leaders are not Krishna conscious. Or to say, जैसे प्रभुपाद बता रहे हैं in the purport that they are not twice born. So twice born means that one first birth they जो द्विज होते हैं so like the Brahmins or the Kshatriyas, the first birth they take through their parents, mother and father, and the second birth is means when they take initiation, when they are spiritually initiated, and that is called the second birth. Like that is why they are called twice born. Let us read further. यस्त्वं कृष्णे गते दूरं सह गाण्डीव धन्वना शोच्यो अशोच्यान् अशोच्यो अस्य अशोच्यान् रहसि प्रहारन् वधम् अर्हसि. You rogue, do you dare beat an innocent cow because Lord Krishna and Arjun, the carrier of Gandiv bow, are out of sight? So you are beating the innocent in a secluded place? You are considered a culprit and therefore deserve to be killed. So Maharaj Parikshit is continuing his talk. In a civilization where God is conspicuously banished, there is no devotee warrior like Arjun. The associates of the age of Kali take advantage of this lawless kingdom and arrange to kill innocent animals like the cow in secluded slaughterhouses. Such murderers of animals stand to be condemned to death by the order of a pious king like Maharaj Parikshit. For a pious king, the culprit who kills an animal in a secluded place is punishable by death penalty, exactly like a murderer who kills an innocent child in a secluded place. तो ये मैं प्रभुपाद का लेक्चर सुन रहा था. It was from 16th chapter although, but Prabhupada was saying the same thing. That why do we differentiate between animals and human beings? They animals are also they have the right to live, and and they should also not be killed. And what to say of cow and what to say of bull? Like they are like father and mother to us, right? And so that is why those who kills animals they are they should like Prabhupada is writing that they are punishable by death penalty. But we see that such a thing is not there in today's law and order. And actually that is good for the why that is why such a punishment exists for those who kill the animals. That is good for the the killer only, because when the king orders the killer to be punished by death, they are actually cutting out their karmas in that way, that in the next life they still have the chance. They don't have to go to the hellish planets to suffer. Otherwise they will get the punishment by anyhow, but in that way what will happen, they will get the punishment for their sin, like what they have done for killing the animals, and then they will also suffer as a reaction. But when the king orders that killer to be killed by death, then the sin is eradicated, because then that punishment is given there only, and in the next life the upliftment can happen. So in that way it is good for their spiritual upliftment, but the people do not understand that, and these kind of punishments are no longer there in the society. त्वं वा मृणला धवला पादैर्न्यूना पदाचरन् ऋषरूपेण किं कश्चिद् देवो न परिखेदयान्. Then he, Maharaj Parikshit, asked the bull, "Oh, who are you? Are you a bull as white lotus, or are you a demigod? You have lost three of your legs and are moving on only one. Are you some demigod causing us grief in the form of a bull?" But at least up to the time of Maharaj Parikshit, no one could imagine the wretched condition of the cow and the bull. Maharaj Parikshit therefore was astonished to see such a horrible scene. He inquired whether the bull was not a demigod, assuming such a wretched condition to indicate the future of the cow and the bull. So he is asking, "Who are you?" तो भी आगे बढ़ते हैं. ना जातु कौरवेन्द्राणं दोर्दंड परिरंभिते भूतले अनुपतन्ति पतन्ति अस्मिन् विनते प्रणिनाम शुचाः. Translation. Now, for the first time in a kingdom well protected by the arms of the kings of the Kuru dynasty, I see you grieving with tears in your eyes. Up till now, no one on earth has ever shed tears because of royal negligence. Purport. The protection of the lives of both the human beings and the animals is the first and foremost duty of the government. तो देखिए वही आ गया. प्रभुपाद जी भी लिख रहे हैं कि not just the human beings, even animals, they should also be protected, because anybody who is in the praja, they should be protected. And praja means, the literal meaning of praja means somebody who takes birth on that land, and that can also mean human beings, that also means animals also. And but the animals, if they're innocent, they cannot speak and they cannot defend for themselves, does not mean that there should be mass scale slaughters happening. A government must not discriminate in such principles. It is simply horrible for a pure-hearted soul to see organized animal killing by the state in this age of Kali. Hmm. Maharaj Parishit was lamenting for the tears in the eyes of the bull, and he was astonished to see such an unprecedented thing in his good kingdom. Men and animals were equally protected as far as life was concerned. This is the way in God's kingdom, and it's a just way. Let us read further. Vedansh has raised his hand. Vedansh, you want to read?
Masarabhe atra sujo vetu te vrishalad bhayam maroderam babhadram te khalanamai shastari. Translation. O son of Surabhi, you need lament no longer now. There is no need to fear this low class youth and no mother cow. As long as I am living as the ruler and subduer of all envious men, there is no cause for you to cry. Everything will be good for you. Purpose. Protection of bulls and cows and all other animals can be possible only when there is a state ruled by an executive head like Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit addressed the cow as mother, for he is a cultured prize-born Kshatriya king. Surabhi is the name of the cow which exists in the spiritual planets and are especially reared by Lord Sri Krishna himself. As men are made after the form and features of the Supreme Lord, so also the cows are made after the form and features of Surabhi cow in the spiritual kingdom. In the material world, the human society gives all protection to the human beings, but there is no law protect the descendants of Surabhi who can give all protection to men by supplying the miracle food, milk. But Maharaj Parikshit and the Pandavas were fully conscious of the importance of the cow and bull, and they were prepared to punish the cow killer with the chastisement, including that there has sometimes been agitation for the protection of the cow, but for want of pious executive heads and suitable laws, the cow and the bull are not given protection. The human society should recognize the importance of the cow and the bull and thus give all protection to these important animals, following in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit for protecting the cows and Brahminical culture. The Lord, who is very kind to the cow and Brahmanas, Go Brahmanitai, will be pleased with us and will bestow upon us real peace.
Hmm. So like हम कल पढ़ रहे थे that how important is the place of cow in our society, both bull and the cow, right? The cow acts like is one of the mothers. There are seven mothers given in the scriptures, and cow is one of the mother. And we drink her milk, and she is the bestower of all the religious principles. And how the bull is acting like as acts as a father, who helps us in agriculture and sowing the land and all, tilling the land. So so that is where the importance of the both the bull and the cow is being mentioned in the purport by Prabhupada. And then how also that the cows are made from the on the on in the image of Surabhi cow, which is existing in the spiritual world, just like the men are made in the form of in the image of the Lord, the form and the features, like that. So but because that is the thing which is missing from the society. Like I was again hearing Prabhupada lecture. Prabhupada was mentioning the same thing, that uh, so out of all the animals, like cow is one animal which should be completely be barred from eating, and for sense gratification or for their own pleasure, and should not be slaughtered. The other animals, they are in mode of ignorance, so the it is still there. But cow should be completely be like should be avoided to do that. And if we simply do that, then there will be peace which will be bestowed. And but because that is not being done, the cow is not given enough protection. That is why there are so many mishappenings happening all over around the world. We see the reaction coming on all of us, the common reaction coming on the whole earth. We can see that as an example of COVID in last 2 3 years. Like we can, that is one of the examples of like that. So the collective karmic reaction that falls upon the whole of the earth, because the so-called the leaders are failing in protection of the and us also, and we are all failing in the protection of the innocent animals, especially the cows. यस्य राष्ट्रे प्रजा सर्वास दृश्यन्ते साध्वी असद असाधुभिः तस्य मत्तस्य नश्यन्ति कीर्तिरायुर्भगो गति एष राज्यं परो धर्मो हि आर्तानाम् आर्ति निग्रहा. अत एनं वधिष्यामि भूतदूरम् असत्तमाम्. O chaste one, the king's good name, duration of life, and good rebirth vanish when all kinds of living beings are terrified by miscreants in his kingdom. It is certainly the prime duty of the king to subdue first the suffering of those who suffer. Therefore, I must kill this most wretched man because he is violent against other living beings. When there is some disturbance caused by wild animals in a village or town, the police or others take action to kill them. Similarly, it is the duty of the government to kill at once all bad social elements such as thieves, dacoits, and murderers. The same punishment is also due to animal killers because the animals of the states are also the praja. Hmm. Praja means one who has taken birth in the state, and this includes both men and animals. Any living being who takes birth in a state has a primary right to live under the protection of the king. ये हमने कुछ देर पहले अभी डिस्कस किया था. The jungle animals are also subject to the king and they also have a right to live. So what to speak of domestic animals like the cows and the bulls? Any living being, if he terrifies other living beings, is a most wretched subject, and the king should at once kill such a disturbing element. As the wild animals is killed when it creates disturbance, similarly, any man who unnecessarily kills or terrifies the jungle animals or other animals must be punished at once. By the law of the Supreme Lord, all living beings, in whatever shape they may be, are the sons of the Lord, and no one has any right to kill other animals unless it is so ordered by the codes of natural law. The tiger can, अब हम पढ़ते हैं कि what do we mean by that natural law? The tiger can kill a lower animal for his subsistence, but a man cannot kill an animal for his subsistence. तो जैसे कि ओके आगे आगे ही पढ़ते हैं पहले. This is the law of God who has created the law that a living being subsists by eating other living being. तो ये आता है जीवो जीव से जीवनम, है ना. One living being is dependent on other living being for their subsistence. Thus, the vegetarians are also living by eating other living beings. Therefore, the law is that one should live only by eating specific living beings as ordained by the law of God. The Ishopanishad directs that one should live by the direction of the Lord and not at one's sweet will. A man can subsist on varieties of grains, fruits, and milks ordained by God, and there is no need of animal food save and except in particular cases. So this is self-explanatory, like Prabhupada is explaining that, yes, it is okay that jivo jiva se jivanam, that every living being is dependent on every any other living being for their subsistence, for food grain, for food. But that does not mean that we have the advantage of, and we can also eat. These animals and then we can eat meat and we can eat non-veg. No, it's not like that. We can very easily sustain on grains, fruits, milks, which are given to us by God. And but those, like for example, tiger, and there is the whole food chain which comes below, and they may not be. They have their auto mode on, and they are dependent upon others. But eventually, you see that even tigers, they are also dependent upon vegetation and grass, because tigers or those animals who eat other animals, but those animals like who are being eaten, they are also dependent for their own food on these vegetation only, like grass or eat like that. Like for example, tiger eat any of the deer also, like for example, let's say. But the deer is dependent upon the plants and on grass and vegetation. So directly or indirectly, everybody is dependent upon like plants and vegetation for that to eat. So, and we can very easily subsist ourselves on grains, fruits, and milk, which are so much provided in abundance, and that is why we don't have to unnecessarily kill the the creatures of God, like these are who are these innocent animals for the taste of the tongue. The illusioned king or executive head, even though sometimes advertised as a great philosopher or learned scholar, will allow slaughterhouses in the state without knowing that torturing poor animals clears the way to hell for such foolish kings or executive heads. हाँ, अब ये भी ऊपर आया था, like this also came in the translation that that the The king's good name, duration of life, and good rebirth vanishes when all kinds of living beings are terrified by miscreants. So this is also the law also, that the king, he gets the karma of the whole nation. Like 1/6 of the karma is the king gets, whether it's the good one or it's the bad one. And if the bad things are more happening, then it is the, आप सोच के देखिए, the whole thing, and उसमें से एक portion, it is going to the 1%. So how much it would be? So if the position is at such a high place, then the responsibility is also such a high place. And if the responsibility is not being fulfilled, then the punishment is also so much high. So like that. The executive head must always be alert to the safety of the prajas, both man and animal, and inquire whether a particular living being is harassed at any place by another living being. The harassing living being must at once be caught and put to death, as shown by Maharaj Parikshit. The people's government, or government by the people, should not allow killing of any innocent animals by the sweet will of the foolish government men. They must know the codes of God as mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Maharaj Parikshit quotes here that according to the codes of God, the irresponsible king or state executive jeopardizes his good name, duration of life, and strength, and ultimately his progressive march towards a better life and salvation after death. Such foolish men do not even believe in the existence of a next life. तो ये किंग की बात हो रही है. While commenting on this particular verse, we have in our presence the statement of a great modern politician who has recently died and left his will, which discloses his poor fund of knowledge of the codes of God mentioned by Maharaj Parikshit. The politician was so ignorant of the codes of God that he writes, I do not believe in any such ceremonies, and to submit to them, even as a matter of form, would be hypocrisy and as an attempt to delude ourselves and others. I have no religious sentiments in this matter. तो देखिए, ये हालत है हमारे देश के पहले प्रधानमंत्री की. Contrasting these statements of a great politician in the modern age with those of Maharaj Parikshit, we find a vast difference. Maharaj Parikshit was pious according to the scriptural codes, whereas the modern politician goes by his personal belief and sentiments. Any great man of the material world is, after all, a conditioned soul. He is bound by his hands and feet by the ropes of material nature, and still the foolish, conditioned souls think of himself as free to act by his whimsical sentiments. The conclusion is that people in the time of Maharaj Parikshit were happy, and the animals were given proper protection because the executive head was not whimsical or ignorant of God's law. And so this is important. Foolish, faithless creatures try to avoid the existence of the Lord and proclaim themselves secular at the cost of valuable human life. The human life is especially meant for knowing the signs of God, but foolish creatures, especially in this age of Kali, instead of knowing God scientifically, make propaganda against religious beliefs as well as in the existence of God, even though they are always bound by the laws of God by the symptoms of birth, death, old age, and disease. So everybody is in control of God, but they think themselves not to be. And and these है ना, and जैसे प्रभुपाद लिख रहे हैं लास्ट में that they try to avoid the existence of Lord and proclaim themselves secular, so-called secularism, where they bring it into picture, and and for the political benefits and for their own personal benefits, they try to uh, not try they completely ignore the laws or the codes given by God and in the scriptures, but to serve scriptures they do not believe even on the main basic ones, and so like that, and majority of them are like that in politics. So until unless, and so the solution is that until unless the society heads become Krishna conscious, and until unless this movement is spread to those people who are at a administrative position, and जैसे कि भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर, लाइक श्रील भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर जी कहते थे है ना, that and that he dreamt of a time when Supreme Court judges would be Vaishnav, and they would wear Vaishnav tilak and go to court, right? And इसी तरह से मैं एक लेक्चर सुन रहा था आज आज की ही बात है प्रभुपाद का, तो उसमें प्रभुपाद यही बात कर रहे थे अबाउट द गवर्नमेंट एंड अबाउट and then there was a devotee who asked a question that Prabhupada, we say that this is the government for the people, by the people, of the people, है ना? This is like the democracy है, and so why can't and these kind of governments can be overrun by people, like कि वो जैसे सरकार गिरा देते हैं. So why can't we do that? Why can't devotees overrun this kind of government and bring up a Krishna conscious government? The Prabhupada said, yes, that can only happen when the majority of the people are Krishna conscious. So spread that Krishna conscious movement and make people Krishna conscious, and uh, and then when we see that the leaders are becoming Krishna conscious, and then we will see there will be these kind of changes. Then will come into picture like that. So ये मैं आज ही सुन रहा था प्रभुपाद के लेक्चर में, तो so I thought let me share it with you. So now we will. It's already 8:16, so we will continue it tomorrow from 12th verse. So we will rest here, and so if there are any comments or if any questions, then we can try to answer.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I have a question here. Sometimes people who live around the sea or near certain areas where they justify their consumption of seafood due to the challenge of growing vegetation in such areas. However, is it still considered a sin by these people?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yes. Because it is more like a excuse given by them that they cannot do that, but we can see that it is very easily possible. There is no such kind of a thing, of course, because the sea life creatures, they are very easily accessible to them, and just because they want they have that taste of the tongue for them, for and killing them and eating them does not make them justified that they cannot grow vegetation and the sale will not occur. It will still be there until unless there is a very जैसे प्रभुपाद भी लिखते हैं परपट में, there is a very exceptional or extreme circumstances which is only allowed by the scripture, or which is only allowed by somebody who is authorized to do that in an authoritative position, and like that. Otherwise it is yes, it is one and the same thing. The sin is still there.
Ji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll end the session over here. No more questions or comments. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. So we'll meet tomorrow, same time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.